Congratulations! You've connected with the Pulpit Perspectives Podcast. Join Reverend Dr. Kent Lundy as he connects with pastors where they preach, literally at the pulpit of their church. It's a point of view with purpose and personality that informs and inspires with real-life stories from great preachers you need to know. Your host is Reverend Dr. Kent Lundy. Let's join Kent at a pulpit with a fresh perspective from his guest preacher.
Hello and welcome to Pulpit Perspectives Podcast. I'm your host, Reverend Dr. Kent Lundy. Pulpit Perspectives Podcast exists to create connections amongst the North District clergy and their congregations. I'm coming to you standing in the chancel of St. Paul's United Methodist Church in Elkhart, Indiana, with their senior pastor, Reverend Tom DeFries. Tom, welcome.
Thank you. I'm glad you're here. Welcome.
Glad to be here. So how long have you been pastor at St. Paul's United Methodist Church?
12 years.
12 years.
Yes. That's a good long stretch.
That is a great long stretch. Okay. All right. So what brings you joy?
Oh, what brings me joy? Of course, certain things like family, that's just always a part of that. But for this time of the year, of course, it's coming up on Christmas. We have a Christmas shop we do every year here at the church. This year, it's getting bigger and bigger. I think 137 kids who probably wouldn't have had Christmas will be getting presents this year and other aspects. We help out the families. We give out food cards as well as supplies that they might need. And it's a full day and probably, man, you get 40, 50 people volunteering their day to come do this. It's an amazing thing because congregation, community's great.
Wow, what a joy-filled atmosphere I'm sure that has got to be.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
Awesome. Very
Love
cool.
it.
All right. So when did you know you were called to vocational ministry?
I was probably 9 or 10 years old, sitting in a Reformed church in my hometown, and kind of like any other child, kind of bored, not, wandering my eyes around, seeing what was happening. And I looked up at the pastor, and it was like he was glowing. I mean, there was a strange light all around him. And I thought, that's weird. Does anybody else see that? And to my heart, as clearly as it could be, God said, that's what you're going to do. You're going to be a pastor. And immediately I said, no, God, pastors don't have fun. I can't do that.
Pastors don't have fun.
I want to have fun in life. And God's worked on me since then. And here we are.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pastors don't have fun. Where did that come from?
I don't know.
That's awesome. Okay. All right. And you showed him, right? Pastors can have
we
fun.
do have fun.
You do. By golly.
In fact, I started having fun with it because even when I was really young, about that age, I had 4 brothers. We'd go down in the basement and we'd line up some pews. And we had an old cradle. I'd stand up on edge. We'd put a blanket over it, and I would preach sermons to them when I was still very young. I always had an offering plate I had to pass around as well. Don't forget that. But we had a lot of fun. Oh. I'm a little different. I understand.
That's awesome. Yeah. So where in the world were you at that point, that Reformed church?
DeMont, Indiana.
DeMont, Indiana. I've been to DeMont. It's like a Dutch capital.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of Reformed Dutch folk.
A lot of Reformed, a lot of Dutch folk, yep.
Yeah.
I got that in my lineage.
Okay. All right. That's awesome. So I love basketball, so just humor me with this next question.
Okay.
All right. So if your ministry were a basketball game and you were out on the court, okay, player on the court, and you take a moment to look up into the stands of who's cheering you on, who's your home court advantage cheering you on?
Wow, that's a different question. As I look up in the stands, of course, incredible support of my wife, my kids, my family. My parents have always been just some of my greatest support in the midst of that. We use the live stream, and they can watch me each week because they're nowhere close. They're back in DeMont, and we're an hour and a half, 2 hours away. And hopefully just some really good, close friends that I've known for a long time, which I was waiting for your question about what gives me joy as well. And I was going to say golf gives me joy. No, but I golf with some friends. Some of them I went to kindergarten with.
Wow.
I'm 55 now. So I've known them for almost 50 years, and they're a good support.
Wow. Yeah, the longevity of those friendships. Okay, I like it. I got it. I can picture all that in the stands. So where do you go to recharge?
Hey, a chance to talk about golf. No, golf is a wonderful aspect of it. Just time with family and getting away. With my wife, one thing we love to do is get out and go see concerts. We love music. We go see a lot of concerts together, and sometimes we do like the meet and greets and just getting to know some of these bands, and it's really cool, and it's just a good way to get away.
So what's the go-to genre of music that you like listening to?
I'm a little bit more rock than my wife is, but we probably most of it is a good rock. A lot of it Christian rock or good, solid people in rock. You want band names?
Sure, why do you hit me?
Yeah, we see Collective Soul, Skillet, Switchfoot. And just trying to think what are some of the others that we did.
Striper?
When I was young, I did, yes. But I missed, yeah, oh yeah. When I was young, I did all that stuff.
DC Talk?
DC Talk? Yeah, you better believe it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Mm-hmm. So we have a good time.
Okay, cool.
It's a good recharging time.
Yeah, it is.
Just getting away.
Yeah, all right. So what's your go-to Bible verse?
Probably Romans 12, 1 and 2. Because when I finally understood that, it hit me in an amazing way. Offer ourselves as a living sacrifice or spiritual act of worship. Don't conform to the patterns of the world, this worldview of a fallen, broken world. We got to break that mindset that we live in every day. And then that amazing aspect of being transformed and having that renewing of our mind or changing the way we think, that we get God's mindset now, God's worldview. And then we can fully understand God's will, which is good, it's beneficial, it's pleasing because it just does so much for us, and perfect. And in the original language, that word means complete and whole, what its purpose that it was designed for. And I'm like, that's it. If we could always understand God's will, how perfect it is for us in our lives, that we would want to do that. Mm-hmm. I think.
There you go. That's wonderful. Romans 12. Got it. All right. Well, pretend with me you're going axe throwing. Have you ever gone axe throwing?
I've never
done. Okay, that's
never. I've thrown a few, but I've never really actually sat there.
Yeah. Right, okay. Yeah. All right. So you're going axe throwing on purpose. Mm-hmm. You get to take one person from Scripture with you. Who are you taking and why?
Oddly enough, I probably take the prophet Jeremiah. Sometimes, when I was first talking about my call, God said, just read the prophets. This is something kind of connect with you. And I was like, okay, sharing God's word, whatever that is. But I really connected with Jeremiah. And the reason is because life's not always easy. Life can get hard. And Jeremiah marks down and writes down his complaints to God. Mm-hmm. And I think, hey, that's I like to do that too, God. Sometimes I like to say it's hard. And sometimes God, with Jeremiah, would pat him on the back, say, it's okay, we're going to get through this. And sometimes God would say, if you can't run in the open field, how are you going to run in the thickets? It's going to get a whole lot more. So start putting it together and let's go. And so I'd like to hear just from him maybe what that was like. And of course, a lot of hard things happened to him too. I'd like to hear how his faith went through all that whole process.
Yeah, like what were the keys of resilience for Jeremiah?
When you're down in a hole, buried in a well and all this other kind of stuff.
And maybe even you could commiserate together.
Yeah, we can complain together.
Man, that was so, yeah. Oh, I know what you're talking about, because one time you could go back and forth. That'd be awesome.
And then at the end, we'd be like, okay, done complaining. Let's get back to business.
Pick up your axe.
Let's go.
We got some throwing to do.
We're
going to have a throwdown, a righteous throwdown. Okay.
Love it.
Awesome. So what lesson have you had to learn the hard way?
Every mistake. How does that sound? How can I even begin?
Okay.
Maybe getting to the point where you realize that, yeah, as a pastor, you're a leadership position, that kind of thing, but it's more than you. It's just not about you. And not only the congregation, and to trust the congregation and work with them as you're leading them, but Jesus, that power that's there, and we feel like we got to take it on ourselves. We got to do this thing instead of just resting in God's plan and work and making it happen. Mm. And that might be the hardest one. Still trying to learn that sometimes, but
we are a work in process,
aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, this next question, I'm gonna ask you to think of an ordinary place, but it's extraordinary to you because of what's happened to you there. So what's an ordinary place that's extraordinary because of what's happened to you there?
I wasn't ready for that question. I'm trying to think what place that would be. It sounds maybe corny, but just the family room.
The family room.
Where it's just an ordinary place, couches, a TV, whatever's there. But it's extraordinary in a place where I can really spend quality time with my wife and family. And it becomes a safe haven. Everybody's got one, but most people have a living room. But mm-hmm.
So to an average person, it's just some walls, some carpeting, a roof, big deal. Yep. But because of the relationships you share in that space,
that's our private space. Because when you live on Parsonage right next to you're in a fishbowl all the time. It's just like I can get into that spot and just be with them.
Yeah.
My wife always says it's hard because as a pastor, everybody wants a part of everybody wants that time with you. Everybody wants this, and how she has to share me with congregations, and that's our time where it's just us. And that becomes extraordinary.
Extraordinary family room. I like it. Okay. So what do you hope your fellow clergy know? Whether you're thinking of them like personally or just more in general, what do you hope your fellow clergy know?
I guess maybe what I've said a little bit ago, it's all about Jesus. I mean, just one of those lessons you have to learn. You got to keep your relationship with Jesus strong, the vine and the branches, and that's where the power source is, and trust Jesus to be at work and getting things done. And sometimes it's a slower process than we want, but to trust him in that, just to always remember, it's not always just about you, but you're just a part of the plan and leading others, and it's much larger than what you are with the congregation and with God. And just step forward and do it. Be brave. Step forward and take those chances. I'm one of those who's kind of a vision caster. Hey, this is a new ministry we could try. Let's go for it. And everybody's like, but let's see.
How do you know?
God's leading us there. Let's try it. Let's do it.
How do you know until you try?
Mm-hmm.
So trust Jesus.
Yeah.
And go for it.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. I like it. Yeah. That could be a sermon series.
Hey, good idea.
Trust Jesus and go for it. All right, last question, and I appreciate your time. When you think about your future here at Elkhart St. Paul's, whether that's a few years, a long time, whatever, I'm not making a commentary on that.
Appointment system.
Right, yeah, right. But when you think about your future and you think about your legacy that you're leaving behind, what are the 3 words that come to mind when you think about that legacy?
Probably love. That I've done my best to try and just love people in the midst of that. Service. Really tried to connect the church in these past decade with the community and the service, amazing ways connecting with that. And then maybe community. Mm-hmm. Community.
Love, service, and community.
Mm-hmm.
That would be an amazing legacy to leave.
Yeah, that'd be great. And a sermon series too. We might try that.
Yeah, why not? Yeah. Okay. Well, that will be my hope and prayer for you as you continue to be pastor here at St. Paul's United Methodist Church. Well, Reverend Tom DeFries, thank you so much for being a guest on Pulpit Perspectives Podcast.
You are welcome, and thanks for talking.
Absolutely. Well, Pulpit Perspectives Podcast exists to create connections amongst clergy of the North District and their congregations. If you want to learn more about all that God is doing in the midst of this incredible district, I would invite you to find the North District on Facebook. You can also learn more about the Indiana Annual Conference by going to inumc.org. That's inumc.org. Well, this has been Pulpit Perspectives Podcast, coming to you from Elkhart, St. Paul's United Methodist Church in Elkhart, Indiana. I'm your host, Reverend Dr. Kent Lundy, signing off for now.
There you have it, a fresh perspective from the pulpit with a great preacher. You know you want to hear more. You can do just that by connecting with Pulpit Perspectives with Reverend Dr. Kent Lundy on Apple Podcast and Spotify, where you can like and follow the podcast. What's more, you can spread the good news about Pulpit Perspectives in your church and with your neighbors. Plan now on joining Kent at the pulpit, where you'll meet another great preacher on Pulpit Perspectives.